Hi, and welcome to Traintown. I'm your host, Josh. Today we're here at the Prairie Dog Central having a look at a local N-scale model train group. We talked to 3 different model railroaders and have a look at 3 different layouts. Let's see.
This layout here, the DWP, the Dauphin, Winnipeg and Pacific, has also combined one of the layouts that we had in Dauphin, that one of our guys had in Dauphin. So that's why the name Dauphin, Winnipeg and Pacific. And when I worked for Canadian National Railways, I had a couple of trips out to the Duluth, Winnipeg and Pacific, and they gave me a decal that they use on their truck. So that's why we used it here for the DWP, the Dauphin, Winnipeg and Pacific Railway. Our modules are 4 feet long and a minimum of 2 feet wide. They can be in 6-inch increments. They can be wider either at the front or at the back. And our tracks, we follow N-Track international standards. I've taken these modules to Thunder Bay and joined up with guys from Sioux Lookout and Minneapolis, St. Paul, and of course Winnipeg fellows. And there was one module there even from Dryden. So because we follow the international standards, we can join them all together. This is N scale, which is 1 to 160. And it's DCC, which is a digital command control. We're running it with the Digitrax system. And we've got several outlets around the layout so the guys can plug in their controllers.
The DCC portion of this layout is set up to operate on a system called GMRI. The GMRI system, in a nutshell, operates from your phone. You can pull your phone out, you can use your laptop, you can use any of those devices, Androids, to set up a throttle system that will link with the Wi-Fi system on the train and allow it to function from a remote location and do all the things that you could do from a handle or anything else. Basically, anybody can download that throttle system and operate on the Wi-Fi very simply and elementary. So,
the year we started with these 4 basic modules was in 2010.
And it was a very fortunate find for us that we got through one of our members who happened to be out here inquiring about maybe finding a building that we could build. And the president of the club, Prairie Dog, had mentioned that, oh, funny you should ask, we got an empty building sitting over there. And 3 years later, this is the point we're at.
What we've got, the way we've got this set up now is this is the 1930s and 40s. You can tell that by the vehicles we've got on the layout. And of course, some of the buildings, I mean, even today are over 100 years old. The buildings aren't that critical. It's the vehicles that we're using. And that's from the 1930s and 40s. Whereas over to the other part of the layout, we switch more anywhere from the 1960s and up because we've got different, newer series of vehicles. Plus we've got the new grain cars and everything, so.
Overall, I think everybody has their input into a lot of it. Some of us were doing scenery, some of us were doing electrical, making buildings. This theater is a series of filaments, 72 holes with the fiber optics in each hole, and then there's collector tubes that gather certain numbers of filaments to give you a chase light scene.
we added these 2 modules over the last season and a half, I would say. These 2 modules allow us to use this portable for smaller shows, but it has a lot of activity, a lot of interest, and a good focal point, a scale replica of the Prairie Dog Central next door. So the storage house, the ticket office, even the water tower, the office next door to us, and our building here all represent an exact scale replica of what we have in real life. So it's very interesting to us as a club. It was a good interest point, and to the public, it's something that we can talk about too when we take it to a show. We can help out with the Prairie Dog Central next door as well as ourselves, because every time they operate on a weekend through the Prairie Dog Central, their passengers get on the train, and when they get off, our building is open to the public, and they can come through and tour through our building. It gives us an opportunity to get together as a group, to meet and to operate trains and have fun. And that's what this hobby is about. When you can consider, if there's a moment, we have some of our members like Allison Onslow, who is a big part of our club. She's done lots of things in operating with us. She can operate anything and is operating one of these trains right at the moment. And it's something that we feel as a club is real beneficial to our community and to the people in our community.
Well, I'm third generation railroader. I worked for Canadian National Railways. My father did, and he also worked for VIA for a while. And my grandfather over in Europe, he worked for the railway there. So it kind of, since childhood, I've had trains, and I'm kind of stuck with it. I've built stationary models before, but stationary being the operative there, it didn't move. I wanted something that moved. And so I tried slot cars, but they only went in one direction. And so when the trains, they go in both directions. So now I got lots of movement in my hobby, and that's what trains.
I think primarily there's a fellowship, and there's certainly a camaraderie amongst our membership. We meet frequently. We have Saturday morning breakfasts. We operate on Sundays and Saturdays. We operate during the week. We have our meetings. We do shows. We do shows in the community. For example, at the Forks, or at Kildona Place, or in Steinbach, or at the Garden City. And we display what we love to do. We take and make an effort to support a charity that we work very hard for, which is the Children's Hospital Foundation. And our club generates money for that foundation every year, and we donate to that foundation every year. So it's a special thing for us. It reaches out to the community.
It's something that I enjoy. You use your creative mind to build different scenes and things like that. There's a lot of creativity that goes into it. My favorite piece is the theater.
Okay.
Because of the amount of time it took to build it.
Rule number 1, it's my railroad. Rule number 2, if you have any problems with that, refer to rule number 1.